Good morning. Welcome to Coffee and Convo. I'm Jay, and today I want to talk about the evolution of society. Get a sip of my coffee first. Walk out over here to the gazebo. No fire today because I haven't replaced the gas in my pit yet. But anyway, do you remember the first time that you heard a parent or a grandparent start telling you that back in their day, this is the way life was, and this is the way you had to do it back in the day, and this, that, and the third? I can't necessarily remember the first time that they did that, but I do remember them saying it. In particular, I remember my grandfather. I remember he said, and I'm sure you've all heard this one, it's a real popular one. When I was a boy, we used to walk to school uphill both ways in the snow with no shoes on, barefoot. Now I know that's an exaggeration, but how many of you have heard, oh, we didn't have that when we were kids, or we didn't do that, and we had this, and we were more this, and we were more that? I remember when I started feeling that way as a parent myself. Not too long ago either. My grandparents lived in a time where there was no television. So I think for them, it was probably interesting for them to have kids that had TV all the time. Maybe a different experience. Our generation, Gen X, or my generation, Gen X, got the first video game systems. Atari, a television, and I know there was maybe a few more, but I know those were the two main ones that I remember as a kid, like young kid, like before 10. And the funny thing is I remember my grandmother had a television, and she loved that thing. Her favorite game was Astro Smash, and she would just sit there and play that forever. She was funny like that. And I think she would have loved the smartphone because she always had those little portable handheld games where she'd play solitaire or slots and stuff like that. So I think a smartphone would have just probably got her in trouble, especially today where you could actually do that and bet money. My mom, on the other hand, I don't really recall my own mother playing any video games until my kids were born, and I had gotten them a Wii, and they had a game, it came with the game Wii Sports or whatever, and it had a bowling game on it, and my mom just loved the hell out of that bowling game. She was darn good too. She dang near bowl perfect games on that electronic device. My biggest point about evolution of society is that it's always been evolving. There's always been something in each generation that technology has took a great leap in. I have never got on my kids for enjoying what is offered to them today. Now, that does not mean that it doesn't frustrate the hell out of me, but we're still the parents. We're still the parents, and we control their time. We control if they even have their own personal electronic device, whether it's a computer, a tablet, or a phone. Even a video game system. I remember my son, my older son, when he got his first phone when he was commencing from 6th grade, going into junior high school. And back then, the big problem was the whole texting thing. Texting too much, you're texting too much, But he was more of a gamer. He loved his video games. That was his crux. So when I hear parents now, very rarely do they say, you're on the video game system too much. They always say you're on the phone. My question to everybody is, what's the difference? Video game system, phone, computer, tablet. I laugh when parents say, well, I just took their phone away. They're not going to listen. I'm taking their phone away. Hey, if they're going to be staying up and doing all that, I'm taking their phone away. They don't need their phone at night, which I had to do that to my son once. Staying up all night talking to his friends and whatnot. But you got to take their computer too, or their tablet too. A lot of these kids these days have multiple accesses to the world. It's not just the phone, but that's all you ever hear is the phone. Mainly because it's the most portable and versatile device that they have. They take it anywhere they go. And more as time goes by, there's not too many dead zones. I remember when those things first came out, and there was always certain companies that you subscribe to, whether you were AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, Sprint back in the day. If you were at one place in town, maybe your phone didn't work like it would another company. Now it's pretty spread out pretty good. There's very, very few dead zones. So for me, it's like, if you can't control what your kid is doing, then you shouldn't be complaining. I mean, what about your parents? Did they get mad when you played Nintendo too much? Now, complete transparency, I personally have never had a problem. Not until I got older. I have more of a problem with technology and electronics advice as an adult now than I did as a kid. I have ADD, man, so I was always outside. I wanted to be outside, just burning through my energy, because I was just, man, I couldn't sit still. I wanted to be out playing sports. I wanted to be out riding a bike. I just wanted to be outside. I never had a problem going to bed early because I wanted to wake up when that sun came up, boy, and just be outside. And I'd be outside until those lights came on the street and come back inside. That's just the way I personally was. Now, when I'd come in from my day activity, or just maybe I was sick or something, yeah, I played Nintendo just like everybody else did. I just didn't have the patience to sit there for hours and do it. Now, that's just me. My son, on the other hand, that boy could play video games from the moment he got up. I had to control it. I literally had to give him time zones. You take a kid's phone away today, they're watching TV. They're not going outside. They're not programmed to go outside. But that starts with you. Every generation had something that the parent of that generation, or what have you, had something to complain about. It's inevitable. I have no idea what's in store for my grandkids. I mean, more of an intensified experience on the cell phone? I guess so. Who knows what technology is going to present next that's going to irritate the hell out of my kids, or maybe my grandkids' kids, and so on and so forth. There will always be something. It wasn't even that long ago. My daughter's getting ready to graduate here in a few weeks, and I don't necessarily recall what the conversation was exactly, how it came about, or what it exactly was. I just remember her saying, "Dad, and I don't want to hear about how it was in your time. Times are different. We're a different generation, Dad." I call them Gen Lazy, by the way. We're Gen Z, no, you're Gen Lazy. It is a lazy generation. Let's make no mistake about it. But if you truly think about where technology is headed, it's almost as if society has programmed them, whether it was deliberate or not. And I'm not one of those overly conspiracy theory people that want to read too much between the tea leaves, although I do think there is a little bit of truth to it being. I think we're programmed to a certain degree, for sure, on a lot of different things. And we'll be talking about a lot of different things in society other than just technology. But they've been programmed to be okay and to have things differently through a phone or what have you. The biggest thing out there right now is AI. AI is at the forefront right now. AI is going to turn into robots. I mean, they're already making them, right? Elon Musk has got a robot. Tesla has a robot. There's a lot of companies already that have these robots, and they're damn near perfected. They're about ready to be in our households, doing the things for us. So Generation Z, aka Generation Lazy, is going to get more lazy. And they'll be more adapt to let it happen because that just gives them more time to go into the addiction of whatever they're on the phone. Now, I myself, borderline addicted, I suppose. Again, I still have ADD. I'm 50. My body has slowed down. My mind has not. And I do, at times, get caught up in my brain being stimulated on YouTube. YouTube is my crux. I'm making a YouTube video as we sit here and speak. Now, I'd rather make a YouTube video. That's just the way I'm wired, see? I'd rather come outside, get some fresh air, have a cup of coffee, talk to you through a tiny little action camera sitting on my fire pit right here. That's just me. My kids rather just sit there and be on TikTok all day. If I don't force them off their phone, I should have videotaped that the other night. I had all the kids sitting in the living room and we were playing a game called 5-Second Rule, and I had to bring it up to them at the end of it, telling them, hey, do you guys realize how much we all laugh together at the same time in the same place? Like that is what I miss about my childhood. That. If we don't make times like that, yeah, they're going to go right to their phone. My biggest point about this video and this conversation is you should do your best just to accept the reality that this is the world we lived in. We lived in a time where Nintendo made its mark. If you're a Gen Xer, if you're a boomer, you had a television, you had Atari, you had these things. If you were a generation before that, you had TVs and even the radio. Even the radio showed, like, there's always been something. Could you imagine the cowboy that didn't want to give up his horse for a car? I wish I would have been around to see that. Who wouldn't want a car over a horse? But nevertheless, okay, I'm sure that was a pretty tough transitional time going from horse to car. Not to us. We could think about it now and just be like, whatever. But I just don't want to be that guy. My whole point of this video and talking about the evolution of society, especially as it pertains to technology and such, is I don't want to be that grumpy old man that continues to complain about something that is inevitable. There was something in my time that irritated the hell out of my peers and mom and dad and grandma and grandpa and all that. And my kids irritate me, absolutely. I realize I'm in control of that. I bought it for them. I can control the time. I can control the narrative. And I'm a little intrigued to see where it's going to go for my kids, my grandkids. Right now, it seems early on AI is going to be the problem, and I'm going to have a conversation about that. That's dangerous. But ultimately, why am I complaining about something that can't be controlled as far as its existence, but I can be a part in controlling how the people in my life around me use it? Of course, until they get on their own. And I think it would be inevitable. I bet you all my kids in my house right now, they're waiting for that day that they have their own place and they have a day off and they sit there all day doing what do they call that? The doom scroll or the scroll of doom? I don't want to be that guy. I even fear being that guy telling kids, get off my lawn. I don't want to be that old man. I don't want to be that grumpy old man. I found my fountain of youth. I'll share that in another conversation. I know what my fountain of youth is. So anyway, I know I can't wait to play this back because I don't know how it sounded. Hope I made my point. Sometimes we just got to stop fighting the things that are inevitable. It's not worth our time. We should put more thought and focus on structuring our own lives around the things that we believe in, and sit down, play a board game with your kids if you still have them. Get together with some friends, play some poker, do something, and just remember the old days where Sometimes that's all we had. Anyway, don't forget to join the conversation. And when I say that, man, hit that subscribe button. I never say it, and I won't say it often, but that's what joining the conversation means. Just follow along, join the conversation. Use that comment section. Let me know what you think. Give me something to talk about. Challenge me. I got thick skin. Nothing really bothers me. I am who I am, and that's all that I am. You could comment in the section where that came from, too. If you're a Gen Xer or a Boomer, I know you should know what that is. Anyway, I'm really enjoying this thus far, making these coffee and convos. So stay tuned, and I'll see you guys in the morning.